Good morning, everyone, afternoon or evening, wherever you happen to be watching us in the world. It is your weekly dose of What If with Jennie Bolt and me, Vicky Midwood. Today, we are talking about quite a big issue that's close to my heart, folks, because it's something that I really struggled with. The question we are posing today is, Jennie, do you want to go for it?
What if you matter more than anyone else in your life?
Wow. That is such a huge question. Now, last week, if you joined us, and if you didn't, please do go find the replay. We were chatting about being your own worst enemy in the way that we judge ourselves so harshly. So this kind of follows on in my head with that kind of theme as putting ourselves down and regarding ourselves as kind of third, fourth, or even fifth class citizens when it comes to where we stand in how important and how much we think we matter in our own lives. So, Jennie, talk to me about how you managed to make it feel okay and even comfortable to put yourself first in your life.
Thank you. Well, it's taken me a great many years, first of all, to do that. And that doesn't mean that you're now going to go, well, I've got years ahead of me, because I didn't know the tools, which is why I'm really keen that other people are able to use them. I think we talked last week about judgment and actually self-judgment. We were going to fire ourselves from judging ourselves, which would create an awareness.
Yeah.
So for me, I matter less in my life at times. I've mattered less. I was taught I was a mother, I was a daughter, I was a partner, I was a wife, whatever it was. Yeah. So you were always, and this reality again brings you into that domain. Yeah. And you're my soulmate, you're not my soulmate, you're my best friend, you're this, you're somebody else. The whole of this world is telling us to be someone else.
Correct.
So what if you just be your own best friend, your own soulmate, your own partner, whatever that means to you?
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is that when you choose for you, and again, this reality, the minute I'm saying that, someone's going, well, you're selfish.
Right. That's the word that springs to mind.
But the people who say that, be aware that it's just not working for them what you're doing, because they're actually asking you to do something that you don't really want to do half the time.
Indeed.
So it's not even a judgment on it, it's just an awareness. So when you choose for you, you become more infinite. You're able to go more places. Yeah. You're in the flow. Rather than, I better say that because Vicky has said this to me, oh dear, I must do that because whatever, for whatever reason. And we spend our time reason and justifying.
That's
so what if you matter more than you?
And this is why I think it links with the judgment, doesn't it? This is what we were saying last week. It links with that judgment because we try and think of excuses or reasons why we didn't do what we think we should do because somebody else said we ought to, right? Or we kind of start to judge others maybe because somehow we think that we're better than them. And this whole selfish thing about putting yourself first is selfish. It often stems from our background and how we were brought up. And if our parents, use those to, oh, you're so selfish doing that, or think about others before yourself. And I think there's so much in society that we don't realize is kind of brainwashing us when we're kids. And we hear it on TV shows and we see it on adverts for various things. And we don't necessarily know that we're making those connections, but we are. And then when we see other people, particularly now, everybody's so much more on social media, and we're kind of voyeurs, aren't we, into other people's lives, and we kind of make judgments that, particularly celebrities, oh, well, they're doing that, oh, they're so selfish, or and we start without realizing that we're doing it, putting our perceptions and interpretations of what we think is good behavior and how to be a nice person. And we forget that to be selfish is not something that is detrimental. It means that you actually give a shit about you, right? And this is the stuff that if you're like I was, who have issues with addiction and confidence and self-worth, it comes down to you not feeling good enough. It comes down to you feeling that it's okay for you to be treated badly, and it's okay for you to feel like a second-class citizen, and that's not okay. And to feel not okay is not being selfish, it's self-care. Would you agree? Is that your experience of working with
Yes, I do agree. And I opted out. I had a lot of depression patches and things throughout my life. And it was a real opt-out because I was felt not good enough or was criticized, whatever it was. And so I did the opt-out. Some people, as Vicky said, she did other things.
Same, opting out in a different way.
Exactly. And we use it as a coping mechanism. And how cool is that? Because what we're allowing with ourselves is is abuse to our own selves, actually, allowing that. What if, when you're aware that things aren't working, you ask a question instead of, oh no, here I go again. We make statements.
Yes.
Statements actually are finite. They stick us. When you ask a question, so what is this? What awareness am I having? What can I change? What action can I do now? What can I be and do different or work at that moment in time? And see what comes up. And it's not about waiting for the heavens to open up and your whole life is going to be sorted. But by asking those questions and just going, even the non-question of interesting point of view. So what can I be and do different here that's going to create something more joyful for me or create more ease for me? What else is possible here? It doesn't really matter. Just ask any question that comes in, but don't look for an answer. And that is amazingly liberating. It is the trick. That's absolutely. It's more liberating because what it's stopping you doing is going into that anxiety. Oh no, here we go again. Oh, I knew that would happen. You know, if I go, whatever we do, again, the self-talk, be mindful of yourself, be aware of the self-talk. And what if you said, can you say to yourself that actually is kind? Kindness to you.
This is the key, isn't it? If we could change the word selfish and kind of erase that to being kind to self, it would make much more sense. And for me, when I was going through recovery, and people said to me, you know, you've got to start being more selfish, and it was just the word, right, that I struggled with. And this is why I say to a lot of my clients, so if that word doesn't work for you, change it. Right? Change it. Choose another. Exactly. And the thing that you said there, and I think it's so important that we encourage people to do this, is to ask those questions but without seeking an answer, because analysis paralysis is real, and this is the stuff that keeps us stuck in continuous stress, anxiety, and patterns that we keep repeating. And if we can just stop looking for the answer and just start listening to what feels good for you, as you said, what could I do? What could I think, do, create, be, have, whatever will allow me to create something different. And I think the biggest thing when it comes to being selfish is it comes back to judgment, not from ourselves necessarily, but from what we think other people will think.
Yes, it's kind of entrained into us, isn't it? As you know, our parents are, and none of it is probably meant, but we are clever beings, and we're able to, something happens at whatever age, and we find a way to deal with that. But what we don't do is then go, okay, thanks, you helped me there, buzz off. You know, we build on that until we think, so every time we hear something creaking, we go, oh, that reminds me of, and we go way back. That hasn't even featured, 20 years, 30 years later.
Yes.
We can use the questions. The questions are really good. And if you're thinking, what question can I ask? Ask any. I mean, we've thrown out a few for you, but really, what can I be and do different here? What is this? What is this not working? What more joy can I ask for? What can I change here? What action can I take right now? And the action can be just taking a step, opening a window. It's not, revamping your whole life. But what it will do, each question will create something more.
Yeah.
It's not about dramatically, the windows being flung open and, the whole of everything's going to be solved and there's your utopia. But it is about enabling you to go from this anxiety and this concern, that we're talking about. In fact, what it enables you to do is be present with you and making you matter. When you matter and you live in 10-second increments, you're choosing for you every 10 seconds, even though you're fitting in around everything else. When you're choosing for you, how much notice would you, how much freer your body is, how much more relaxed the anxiety goes.
And this is key, especially if we feel as women, moms, partners, business owners, whatever we happen to be, if we feel that we are always having to put others before ourselves, we do become resentful eventually.
Yeah.
We do start to feel life's not fair. And when we become that kind of a person who is always feeling and thinking that, we're not very much fun to be around, right? We're not that nice to know, not just for others, but for ourselves. It's not joyous being us. So if we can think about being kind to self, and if I look after me, by default, everybody else will benefit. Suddenly we can take away this idea that looking after self is somehow selfish. Actually, looking after self is crucial if you want to enjoy family and a partner and have a successful business. Without it, you are going to struggle, and the other people around you are going to feed off that and not necessarily want to be around you. So it's kind of a no-brainer, isn't it, when you shift the way that you look at it? And we do that by asking those questions. Just run through for us, Jennie, again, some of the questions that we can ask ourselves that in our own heads will help us to feel more comfortable with making sure that we do matter most in our life.
Yes. Can I just take one of the words you just used just then, and that's comfortable, and not use it? Okay. Which probably sounds really strange.
No, go for it.
When we go into comfort, we're comfortable being spoken to in different ways. We get comfortable with this reality. What we're looking for is a freedom, if you like, to open up ourselves, our body, and our bodies are crucial in this. Absolutely crucial. And I was going to say something and I've forgotten, but that's fine. So what questions, the questions really, first of all, I would do the expanders down, expand out. We have done that in other ones. So when we're like that, we are shut in. So we can just imagine we just go, okay, so your barriers down and expand out, and you expand out the size of the room, you expand out the size of your house, the building you're in, you expand out the size of the town, the country, the continent, the world, and the universe and beyond. And you're not getting bigger yourself. What you're doing is creating space around you, which of course naturally dissipates the intensity that you're feeling at that moment in time. So that's an easy one. Barriers down, expand out. It doesn't matter where you are. What is it I'm not getting here? The question. Okay, what action can I take? What can I change here? What other possibilities are there here? What if I'm kinder to myself? What is it I'm, there's quite a few little questions here that we can do. We could put some, maybe this is for another time. We'll do a sort of few that people can jot down. Maybe that would be an idea for another time.
I think what might be quite nice is for us to maybe kind of list some of the questions that we can just always bring to our mind, because I quite like the idea of having, sometimes just 3 kind of go-to questions, and thinking about, just asking, what do I need in this moment? As you said, that 10-second increment. is
what is
so
this
important.
is a good one. What is this? Because then it's nothing, you know, you're not answering these questions by the, what is this? What can I change?
Yeah.
What action can I take now? Those, even just those three.
Those
What else
three,
is possible here I've not even considered?
Yeah.
But
And
the
that
one big factor is, who does it belong to? Because return it to sender, because it's very often not your stuff either.
I think that's one of my favorite ones,
Yeah,
that you kind of use, because that, who does this belong to, is part of it. But then when you add in, let's return it to sender, it's like almost you've got permission to go, oh yeah, okay, so I picked that up from so and so, but now it's all right for me to just get rid of it. And this is a little bit like what we were saying last week, firing the judgment, isn't it?
yes.
You fire yourself from judgment.
It's also not about proving anything, and it's just about being aware that something needs to change. It's not about, oh, if I do this, and creating a solution. None of the questions will create a solution. What they will do is open up greater possibilities for you to change the way that your body and you are. This is about energy. This is so much about energy. The language that's used by us all is all about energy.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at the way you say no, you can say no very abruptly. No. There's a complete difference. It's the same word, but how I've delivered it is completely different. And we buy into that energy. And okay, interesting. No, you know, you're not allowing that energy. So I think we've said before about your body's becoming a calendar. But when people are speaking to you, you just allow them just to go through. It's not you're taking no notice. And you don't do, but you're not holding on to those things, because those triggers that people say to you very often are pressing on those things that we've built up in our whole lives. They build up in different areas and call that anxiety. So what if you do matter more than anyone else in your life?
And I think one of the most important things for people to take away is, if you don't matter most to you, why would you expect you to matter more to somebody else?
Absolutely. Great question, John.
So on that note, I think we will leave it there for this week. As always, Jenny, I love our what if conversations, and I hope you viewers are enjoying them too. If you are, please do give us some likes, some love hearts. If you know somebody who you think may find this video helpful, please do share it with them, or on your platform, or with your group of people. We are here every week to bring you a what if, and if you have a what if that you might like us to discuss, why not share it with us? We would love to get some ideas from you as well. Please do put #replay in the comments. And if you want to get in touch with Jenny or myself, how's the best way for them to do that, Jenny? How can people find you and get in touch with you?
Thank you. I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook, and jenniebolt.com.
Fabulous. And I am also on LinkedIn as Vicky Midwood, on Facebook as Vicky Midwood and the Addiction and Disordered Eating Eliminator. And my website is vickymidwood.com, where you can just literally book in for a quick chat with me about anything that is on your mind at the moment. Jenny, as always, thank you once again for our conversation. I absolutely love it. And I am so looking forward to seeing you next week, where we will have another amazing what if up our sleeves. On that note, thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you for your contribution. Bye.